Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about leadership. Oh, great. Another talk on leadership. You know, Lee Iacocca wrote a book back in 2007. So that's like 15 years ago. It was called Where Have All the Leaders Gone? And sadly, it seems even more relevant today. When you couple that with Michael Pfeffer's book called Leadership BS, which he talks about how we've spent billions of dollars every single year on leadership and not showing any return, well, it seems like a pretty dismal reflection of where leadership is today. So it'd be just a tad arrogant of me to suggest that in a little Terry talk that I can change the world of leadership. I'm not going to do that. But I wanted to share a few observations to get the conversation going a little bit. Love to hear your comments on this. So here's a couple of ideas that I've had around things we could do that can make leadership a little stronger. First one that came to mind was procedural justice. We all know about this. It's the I want to have my day in court. I remember years ago getting a traffic ticket, speeding ticket on the 401 highway. And I wanted to fight it because there was all these other cars around me going the same speed, but I got picked out of the crowd. And I went and was with the Crown prosecutor, and he said, "I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to knock down the points. We're going to just have it a fine, no demerit points. Your insurance won't be covered." And I was mad. Why? Because I wanted my day in court. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to be able to say, this isn't right. So sometimes leadership, even though things may distributive justice are distributed equally, you've got to stop and listen. You've got to stop and let people have their day in court. The other one that's just such a favorite of mine is the power of why. You know that 2-year-olds are famous at this. They just keep asking why all the time. They're so curious, right? I love this. People love to know the why behind things. Let them know. I've been victim of this recently with some folks in my team in our office, and not explaining the why, just saying, let's do it this way. Shame on me. I know better than that. Let people know the why. It makes all the difference in the world. Intent. Oh, this one's another big one, right? Intent. In a world with so much social media and emailing, and we communicate more now than ever before by written communication rather than verbal communication. What's that mean? We are likely to interpret and misinterpret all kinds of things, right? We'll read into things that aren't really there. Remind people of your intent. No one I know of purposely tries to screw things up or tries to screw anybody over. Yet sometimes we go to that place when we read a post or read an email. Let's really get back to intent. Then focus on what's important to you, not what you're against, but what's important to you. Remember that piece just a second ago about why? Ties in here really, really nicely. And then finally, focus on hope. Hope outweighs fear all the time. My favorite quote, and I've talked about this before on this channel, in The Hunger Games, great movie my kids introduced me to years ago. President Snow, maybe you know this. He said, hope is the only thing that endures. A little hope is effective. A lot of hope is dangerous. Of course, that was threatening his kingdom, as it were. So hope is incredibly powerful. So a couple of ideas. Try a few of these on for size. It's not limited to leaders, by the way. Everyone can benefit from following some of these tips. And I'm sure you've got many more. Throw them into the chat box below. We'd love to hear more. Get this conversation started. Love to hear your thoughts.